Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 561 of our trek, and it is Wisdom Wednesday. Every Wednesday along life's trail, we will dig for the nuggets of wisdom that are found in the book of Proverbs. Today will be a restart, and we'll have an introduction to the book of Proverbs. We are broadcasting from our studio, the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. Last week was a busy week, but it was productive. For one client, we are preparing information for their biannual audit, which requires assembling data for the past 2 years. Fortunately, most of the information is stored electronically and is organized. We're also still working on company and personal tax returns for clients, family members, and ourselves. Since I am creating this podcast prior to this last weekend, if all goes according to plan, we will be investing in a heavy-duty chainsaw, and we will begin the cleanup of the 4 large trees, which we had a tree service cut down for us. The weather is turning cold though this weekend, so we'll see how much we're able to accomplish. We do have an exciting announcement, and that is Paula has decided to begin her own podcast called A Quilter's Life, where she will be interviewing people who quilt and allow them to share their life as a quilter with the listeners. We have received very positive feedback to those that we have mentioned it to. We do feel that it will be well received, and we're excited for this challenge. As we have been working together in preparation for that, it is our hope that she'll be able to release her initial interviews within the next 2 to 3 months. Since Wisdom Trek is not an interview-based podcast, we have both been learning the additional aspects that are required to set up and interview others, most of which will be done remotely. At this time, Paula plans to have weekly episodes of The Quilter's Life, and I'll let you know when it is about to be released. This podcast is a new beginning for Paula, and as we look at our topic for Wisdom Wednesday, I have decided to start back through the book of Proverbs with a little bit of a different twist. Today we will look at a brief introduction of the book of Proverbs. Starting next Wednesday, I will read a short synopsis of each chapter and then read the entire chapter using a newer translation called The Voice, which is slightly more conversational in nature and will give us a different perspective on this book of wisdom. Each month, as I personally restart reading through the book of Proverbs, I do look forward to it with a new anticipation. So today let's begin with our introduction to Proverbs, which we will title The Beginning of Wisdom. The book of Proverbs is part of the Bible's wisdom literature. The Bible's wisdom literature explores the question, what does it mean to live well in God's world? You can think of it as sort of the good life for dummies. Wisdom literature comes in all forms: songs, stories, reflection, and romance. This book is primarily one form of writing called the proverb. A proverb is a short, pithy statement that contains a powerhouse of wisdom. A proverb is a type of poetry. However, the structure of Hebrew poetry is different from our English poems. In most simple modern poetry, like what we find in the greeting cards, 2 lines are made to rhyme with each other through their final words. Hebrew poetry, on the other hand, contains 2 lines that don't rhyme words, but rather rhyme ideas. The second line in a Hebrew poem will reinforce the same thought with the first line, but with different words. Most of the book is a collection of these short poetic pieces of wisdom called Proverbs. The book of Proverbs is interested in how to architect the best life possible on God's earth. The Proverbs themselves are compact in nature, but they are not trite at all. The Proverbs cover important life lessons, and they do justice to the full complexities of life. Solomon is the author of many of the Proverbs, but not all. The book itself appears to be the work of a later hand who organized it into its final form, such as mentioned in chapter 25, verse 1. It is written that Solomon authored over 3,000 Proverbs in his day, but only a small percentage of the works are made in this final collection here. As we make our way through this ancient book of wisdom, we'll look carefully at the key terms and major themes that will gently nudge us to the prevailing message found in the work. We'll find that themes like the fear of the Lord weave throughout the entire book. As we begin, you'll notice the first 9 chapters are not Proverbs, but are instead a series of poems that warm you up to why you should read the Proverbs. These poems tell us about the nature of God's wisdom and its critical role in our lives. Next week, we will begin with chapter 1 and continue through the entire book of Proverbs each Wisdom Wednesday over the next 31 weeks. I hope that you'll plan to join us each week so that you can gain wisdom, insight, and knowledge for yourself. I've read through the book of Proverbs between 400 and 500 times over the past 35 years, and each month I am reminded of the great wisdom truths that are contained in this book. This habit has become the single most impactful practice in obtaining wisdom in my life. All the Proverbs provide us with rich wisdom, insight, and understanding on a myriad of life issues. And regardless of where you are on your faith walk, if the precepts of Proverbs are followed, your life will be rich and satisfying. I encourage you to take them and plant the seeds of wisdom in your heart so that you'll reap a harvest of wisdom throughout your life. Tomorrow we will hike another short trail on our Wisdom Unplugged series where we will discover an inspirational wisdom quote. So encourage your friends and family to join us and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. That will finish our trek for today. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks or read the Wisdom Journal, they are available at wisdom-trek.com. You can also subscribe at iTunes or Google Play so that each day's Wisdom Trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And I thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and then leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.